Hello, fellow heirs. Welcome back to Weekday Wind Down with the Word, where we are reading through the book of Exodus. And today we will be reading the 34th chapter of Exodus in the NLT version. This chapter includes the new copy of the covenant. So without further delay, let's get started. A new copy of the covenant. Then the Lord told Moses, "Chisel out 2 stone tablets like the first ones. I will write on them the same words that were on the tables you smashed. Be ready in the morning to climb up the mountain of Sinai and present yourself to me on the top of the mountain. No one else may come with you. In fact, no one is to appear anywhere on the mountain. Do not even let the flock or herd graze near the mountain." So Moses chiseled out 2 tablets of stone like the first ones. Early in the morning he climbed Mount Sinai as the Lord had commanded him, and he carried the 2 stone tablets in his hands. Then the Lord came down in a cloud and stood there with him, and he called out his own name, Yahweh. The Lord passed in front of Moses, calling out, "Yahweh, the Lord, the God of compassion and mercy. I am slow to anger and filled with unfailing love and faithfulness. I lavish unfailing love to 1,000 generations. I forgive iniquity, rebellion, and sin, but I do not excuse the guilty. I lay the sin of the parents upon their children and grandchildren. The entire family is affected, even children in the 3rd and 4th generation." Moses immediately threw himself to the ground and worshiped. And he said, "O Lord, if it is true that I have found favor with you, then please travel with us. Yes, this is a stubborn and rebellious people, but please forgive our iniquity and our sins. Claim us as your own special possession." The Lord replied, "Listen, I am making a covenant with you in the presence of all your people. I will perform miracles that have never been performed anywhere in all the earth or in any nation. And all the people around you will see the power of the Lord, the awesome power I will display for you. But listen carefully to everything I command you today. Then I will go ahead of you and drive out the Amorites, Canaanites, Hittites, Perizzites, Hivites, and Jebusites. Be very careful never to make a treaty with the people who live in the land where you are going. If you do, you will follow their evil ways and be trapped. Instead, you must break down their pagan altars, smash their sacred pillars, and cut down their Asherah poles. You must worship no other God, for the Lord, whose very name is jealous, is a God who is jealous about his relationship with you. You must not make a treaty of any kind with the people living in the land. They lust after their gods, offering sacrifices to them. They will invite you to join them in their sacrificial meals, and you will go with them. Then you will accept their daughters who sacrifice to other gods as wives for your sons, and they will seduce your sons to commit adultery against me by worshiping other gods. You must not make any gods of molten metal for yourself. You must celebrate the festivals of unleavened bread. For 7 days, the bread you eat must be made without yeast, just as I have commanded you. Celebrate this festival annually at the appointed time in early spring, in the month Abib, for that is the anniversary of your departure from Egypt. The firstborn of every animal belongs to me, including the firstborn males from your herd of cattle and your flocks of sheep and goats. A firstborn donkey must be brought back from the Lord by presenting a lamb or young goat in its place. But if you do not buy it back, you must break its neck. However, you must buy back every firstborn son. No one may appear before me without an offering. 6 days each week for your ordinary work, but on the seventh day you must stop working, even during the season of plowing and harvest. You must celebrate the festival of harvest with the first crop of the wheat harvest, and celebrate the festival of the finest harvest at the end of the harvest season. 3 times each year every man in Israel must appear before the sovereign, the Lord, the God of Israel. I will drive out the other nations ahead of you and expand your territory, so no one will covet and conquer your land while you appear before the Lord your God 3 times each year. You must not offer the blood of my sacrificial offerings together with any baked goods containing yeast, and none of the meat of the Passover sacrifice may be kept until the next morning. As you harvest your crops, bring the very best of the first harvest to the house of the Lord your God. You must not cook a young goat in its mother's milk. Then the Lord said to Moses, "Write down all these instructions, for they represent the terms of my covenant I am making with you and with Israel." Moses remained there on the mountain with the Lord 40 days and 40 nights. And all that time he ate no bread and drank no water. And the Lord wrote the terms of the covenant, the 10 commandments, on the stone tablets. When Moses came down Mount Sinai, carrying 2 stone tablets inscribed with the terms of the covenant, he wasn't aware that his face had become radiant because he had spoken to the Lord. So when Aaron and the people of Israel saw the radiance of Moses' face, they were afraid to come near him. But Moses called out to them and asked Aaron and all the leaders of the community to come over, and he talked with them. Then all the people of Israel approached him, and Moses gave them all the instructions the Lord had given him on Mount Sinai. When Moses finished speaking with them, he covered his face with a veil. But whenever he went into the tent of meeting to speak with the Lord, he would remove the veil until he came out again. Then he would give the people whatever instructions the Lord had given him, and the people of Israel would see the radiant glow of his face. So he would put the veil over his face until he returned to speak with the Lord. And that concludes Exodus 34 in the NLT version. Now there was a few things that jumped out at me this time, but something that I looked at a little bit differently this time is the countenance of Moses and how he changed because he had been spending so much time with the Lord. And I got to thinking about how that's still true today. The more time we spend with the Lord, the more time we put in reading his word, praying, just listening, opening ourselves up to listen to what he has to say to us, the more we change. And a lot of times people can see the change in us. They can see it manifest in us. Sometimes they can even see it on our countenance. They can even see, just by looking at us, they know that we have changed. And a lot of times when people accept the Lord as their Lord and Savior, they change. And it's very noticeable. People, especially with people around them a lot, they notice it a lot of times immediately. And so I just thought that was interesting, that change is still going on today, that people are still being able to see when people, or even notice when people have been spending a lot of time with the Lord. So that's my take on this chapter today. What do you think? Put it in the comments below. I would love to hear what your thoughts are on this chapter. Please remember, iron sharpens iron, so don't hesitate to put something in the comments below. And once again, thank you for listening to Weekday Wind Down with the Word, and have a good life in Jesus Christ. Bye.